Presenting the prisoner's dilemma in the context of game theory and the Nash equilibrium. So, what is the prisoner's dilemma? Simply, two parties face a decision that can lead to either mutual cooperation or individual betrayal for personal gain, even though cooperation would benefit both more. Let's look at an example of this. So, we have two neighboring farmers. Both want to plant as many trees as possible, but doing so draws water from the nearby river. So when the season starts, each farmer wants to plant as early as possible to benefit for a larger crop by using more of the water, and the other would have been lacking and lost yield. Even if they both coordinated, it would yield to greater or benefit for both parties. The dilemma is if both farmers cooperate, they both benefit. But if one defects, they could gain a larger payoff at the other expenses. What will they do? So we can evaluate this with a payoff matrix to identify the dominant strategy in Nash equilibrium. So what are the possibilities? If they both work together, they can each get 5 tons. If only one defects, then the other gets 9 tons. And and finally, if they both defect, it results in each of them only getting 2 tons of the crops. So the best strategy would be to work together to each get a large amount, but the safest outcome is to betray, as following that methodology, even betraying, you either risk only having one if you were the only one to not betray, against the payoff of still getting two if both of you betrayed. As such, that would be the Nash equilibrium. So what can we do? Well, here are two possible solutions. The first being to introduce a third party to the situation to monitor and enforce agreements by levying authority to make sure that groups are working their best interest together. Another approach would be to a tit for tat situation where neither commits to one idea, but rather just follows the other, both starting by working together and agreeing to share. Then, if one defects, the other one immediately follows up. As such, it leads to better cooperation, as either way, if one were to defect, it still leads to the Nash equilibrium case, and otherwise, it lead takes off a little stress knowing that both groups are starting off cooperating. In conclusion, Prisoner's Dilemma shows how individual actions can lead to worse outcomes for everyone, even when cooperation is the best choice, such that by using strategies, we can encourage cooperation to avoid the tragedy of commons